I would like to show you how to create hyperlinks in Bash using ANSI escape codes and then replicate this functionality in Rust using custom types and formatting. All right, now we'd like to create those hyperlinks in my Bash terminal. So this is how we can achieve it. And I have to say this, that modern terminal emulators support ANSI escape codes for formatting text as clickable links. And this is the command. The first part of the command, which starts from -033, is the part that starts the hyperlink and sets the URL to the desired page. And then we've got the second part, which is the displayed text. So this is the text that displays as the clickable link. And then the last part that starts from, again, 033/003, this sequence ends the hyperlink formatting. In terminals that support these escape sequences, the text support bytes and balance on Patreon will appear as a clickable link direct into the provided URL. All right, let's run this command and see what happens. So I'm just going to copy this, go to my GitHub code spaces, and run this command. And then after running, you can see this clickable hyperlink. And if I open it, when I click on it, it takes me to my URL. So now let's replicate exactly the same functionality in Rust. So in order to do this, we have to implement a structure with two fields, text and link. Text is a string and URL is typed from a URL crate. And then we have to implement a constructor method new. And this method accepts text and URL parameters, text and the link parameter or the URL parameter that they implement as ref. And this is just to allow various types of string inputs. So inside the constructor, what you can see is we convert the text parameter to an owned string using toOwned, because we want the hyperlink struct owns its text data fully, independent of the original source. It is important because it avoids issues related to borrowing and lifetime. And then the second thing that we do, we use try into here to pass the URL parameter into a URL. And this is to convert the string into a URL object and handles errors if the parsing fails and returning a result. The constructor returns a result self and parse error, and it handles any URL parsing errors. If successful, it provides an instance with the self of hyperlink with the specified text and URL. All right, now I want to implement the display trait for the hyperlink structure formatted with ANSI escape codes with this one. The format or FMT method within the display trait uses ANSI escape codes. The methods write this thing, and it's got two placeholders. The first placeholder is for the provided URL, and the second one is for the text, and that's what we're providing them here. When the hyperlink instance is printed, it appears as a clickable link in terminals that support those escape sequences. So before going to the next slide, I'm going to talk about the formatter here, which is a struct, and it is used by the formatting system to handle the details of how data is formatted and written to an output string. And this part is actually the anonymous lifetime, which Rust infers automatically. And this is just to make sure that the reference to the formatter does not outlive the data it references. All right, now let's run this program and see what happens. So I'm going to my terminal on my GitHub code space, and I've got this hyperlink as an example in my examples folder. And this is the code. And what we do is we use a constructor, we create this hyperlink with this text and URL, and then we'll print it. So if I run cargo run -- example hyperlink, then I'm getting the link here. And if you click on it, then you will end up on Nick Larson's GitHub. And make sure to check his GitHub because he's got a lot of open source projects, which are very interesting, and especially there are a lot in Rust. And the other thing that I want to show you is, you've seen this before, we have run this command that it was the bash implementation for the hyperlink. So I run this and I get this hyperlink here, click on it, and you will end up on my Patreon page. And make sure that you follow the community here, which is bytes and balance.